Boxing truth here. Amir Khan still throwing more shade at his rival Kell Brook, talking mad shit, clowning Kell Brook for his constant series of bum fights that he's participated in ever since he's won his first world title against Sean Porter. Now Khan, he's feeling good right now. He's in the spotlight. He's in the limelight. He's at center stage. He's finally got that big pay-per-view fight that he's yearned for years. He's doing a lot of interviews. He's feeling good. He's getting a lot of attention. He's finally feeling that the superstar that he thinks he is, even though Amir Khan has done jack shit for years. He's been beltless. Hasn't had a world title around his waist since 2012. Has done jack shit ever since Danny Garcia knocked his ass out. Has been taking safe fights, hoping that a big fight will fall in his lap. His best win at welterweight was Sean Porter leftovers and Dell Alexander. And yet, he expects to get a big fight simply based on his popularity in Great Britain. But yet, he hasn't really put in that work to get these fights. The only reason why he got this fight with Canelo is because he was the only option on the table. Golden Boy wanted Canelo in another pay-per-view fight. The names being considered, like Willie Monroe and Gabriel Rosado and Liam Smith, were very undesirable to them for a pay-per-view fight. So they went with Amir Khan, who is a name, a big name in the UK. He's not as popular as he thinks he is in the United States. Hasn't done the type of ratings, hasn't done the type of gates, hasn't generated the type of gates to consider to say that he's a major star in America. He hasn't proven that yet. He's never sold out any big venues in America. But he's finally got his big fight. He's moving up to Canelo weight to fight Canelo on May 7th on the pay-per-view platform for the very first time in his career, the biggest fight of his career. Finally getting the attention he craves and feeling like he belongs at this level. He's feeling that he's always felt he belonged on the pay-per-view platform, being discussed among the big stars, superstars in boxing. He will be a significant underdog against Canelo. So as he's training for the fight, he's been doing a lot of interviews. He's been asked some questions about Kell Brook, and he always loves to clown Kell Brook for his inability to get big fights, for fighting guys who are below his level, not selling out his own hometown. His last fight when he fought a no-name Kevin Bizier, talking a lot of shit to Brook about he's gotta grow a pair of balls and fight these big names, put himself into position to get these big fights, making excuses about fighting mandatories, even though he'll get stripped for not fighting them. Because if Kell Brook loses that belt, nobody's gonna fight him. You think it's hard for him to get a big fight now with a belt? He gets rid of that belt, nobody will fight him. None. He'll have no value in fighting him if he gets rid of that belt. So that's just not a good idea, to work so hard to get the belt just to let go of it when he's not a big enough name yet in the States. Even in the UK, he's not even selling out his own hometown. So he's still a work in progress. But Amir Khan's been going in on Kell Brook, saying he's stupid as hell for calling out Golovkin, that he's wasting his career, he's wasting his prime, and that Eddie Hearn is just not getting the job done and pulling the trigger on these fights. But the thing is, Kell Brook has been trying to get that big fight for a while with Amir Khan. He wanted his first high-profile fight to be with Amir Khan, and he wanted it to be in the summer of 2016. in all reality, and like in honestly, it's these two, Amir Khan and Kell Brook, that should be fighting in the summer. Amir Khan took that fight away from the boxing world, and instead he's given us a showcase pay-per-view that would feature Canelo most likely knocking his ass out. Instead of a fight people were talking about, people were looking forward to, it was highly anticipated between a Kell Brook and Amir Khan fight at Wembley in the UK. That would have been a great fight, massive fight, as the British like to say, massive. Would have been a huge fight. It would have gotten a lot of attention in America as well. I mean, this is the fight people were talking about. Nobody was talking about Amir Khan versus Canelo. For what? Nobody was talking about that fight. Canelo's right now a lineal middleweight champion at Canelo weight. So no one was expecting it. No one was anticipating it. We all wanted Amir Khan to fight Kell Brook. Now the question remains, why didn't Amir Khan fight Kell Brook? You could say that he's not ducking him because he's moving up to Canelo weight to fight a bigger, stronger, and a world champion in Canelo. However, now this is according to Eddie Hearn. He did an interview with Kugan Cassius of Eiffel TV when the fight first got announced. He said he cannot believe Khan is fighting Canelo. He also said that he pretty much turned down the same money he would have made that he's making with Canelo as he would have got for fighting Kell Brook in the UK. He's saying that Khan's making around the same type of money as he would have gotten to fight Kell Brook at Wembley in the summer of 2016 in a much more winnable fight. Let's be honest here. A lot of people would say that's a 50-50 fight. In my opinion, I don't think it was. I think Kell Brook trashes Amir Khan. That's just my opinion. But, Khan's fanboys will say, oh, Khan got this. He trashed Kell Brook. Easy work. But nah. Amir Khan didn't want to fight Kell Brook. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He ducked Kell Brook. He didn't want that work. He wanted nothing to do with Kell Brook. Avoided him for years. Made up every excuse in the book. You need to fight some names. You need to win a world title. You need to beat someone in the top 10 of the welterweight class. Kept making every excuse in the book every time Kell Brook fulfilled one of Khan's demands. And he still kept ducking him. Still kept avoiding him. Because Khan knows the truth. He knows his rival Kell Brook would trash him if they fight. He knows that he'll get knocked out. He's been watching his performances. Look how explosive Kell Brook has looked in his last 3 fights. I mean, he's been knocking guys out, destroying them, showing these guys they ain't nowhere near his level. Yes, I understand these guys weren't world beaters. They weren't great fighters. But what do good guys do to these type of opponents? They destroy them. And that's exactly what Kell Brook is doing. And Amir Khan, he's like, if I'm going to take an L, it ain't going to be to Kell Brook. It'll be the biggest blow to his career to lose to his rival. A guy that he said he used to school in sparring years ago. It will be a big blow to his career. It will probably be the end of his career if he were to take a damaging loss to Kell Brook. So instead of possibly taking an L to Kell Brook, he moved up to fight Canelo in a fight I don't think he could win. I don't think he has any chance. I don't give a shit that he's faster or he has movement. The dude has no defense. He's terrible defensively. Leaves his chin open in the air. When he throws combinations, he leaves himself wide open. Canelo's a very good counterpuncher. And also, he's not as good good on his feet as people say he is. He's not as good as outboxing his opponents as some of his fanboys will say. The dude struggles outboxing a lot of people. Maidana, Lamont Peterson. Who else? He couldn't even outbox. He couldn't even keep Chris Algieri off of him. He struggled, went life and death with him. Got the decision, but he went life and death with Chris Algieri. Light puncher. Couldn't keep him off of him. So how's he gonna keep Canelo off of him? I just don't see it. His fanboys will say he's gonna shock the world, but nah, man, it's not gonna happen. Khan's a sacrificial lamb. That's all it is. He's being sacrificed. He was able to get Al Heyman told Al Heyman, look, I want this fight, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm taking this fight. So now he's fighting on HBO pay-per-view. A PBC fighter, affiliated fighter, fighting on HBO pay-per-view on a Golden Boy promoted show against the biggest star in boxing right now, the number one pay-per-view star in boxing, against Canelo on HBO with a fighter that HBO has a contract with in Canelo. It's all stacked up against Amir Khan. Politically, he's fighting on a network that pretty much is only using him as an opponent to Canelo. The judging will be in Canelo's favor. The commentating will be in Canelo's favor. Who you think HBO wants to win? Of course, Canelo Alvarez. So they're gonna make sure that he wins, even if it goes 12. But I don't think it will. So while Amir Khan is finally getting his big opportunity and finally getting the attention that he's wanted for all these years, the truth is he ducked Kell Brook in order to get a fight with Canelo. I'm not knocking the fight. Business-wise, it makes sense for all the parties involved. But while he's trashing Kell Brook for his bum quest, not getting the fights that he wants, not getting the big opportunities, Amir Khan is on the verge of losing. And Kell Brook, he's still going to be a world champion. He's still going to have a belt around his waist. He's still going to be undefeated. He's still undefeated at the moment. He's never lost. And he's beaten one of the stronger welterweights in the world in Sean Porter. So he still has a lot of upside. He still has opportunities out there. He just has to, right now, for the summer fight, it's not looking too good for a big fight. But perhaps a Miguel Cotto fight is possible now that James Kirkland is out of the running for a pay-per-view fight with Cotto in June. But there's no guarantee Cotto's going to fight in June because he can't find any opponents. But he does have Kell Brook. His team just has to want the fight, but I don't think they do. So maybe they'll opt to wait in September to see what happens with Canelo and pursue a rematch with Canelo. So while Amir Khan is clowning Kell Brook for constantly fighting no-name opponents, Amir Khan's about to get knocked the fuck out by Canelo. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.